Hey, this is Warren Redlick. I just had a fun conversation with Common Sense Skeptic, an online troll with a fairly significant YouTube account who loves to trash Tesla, SpaceX, and anything Elon, along with other things. I've had a couple conversations with him before, tried to get him to come on my YouTube channel for a conversation, and he was afraid to have his face in public, claiming that it would cause some threat to him when Ben Sullins, Alex from E4Electric, plenty of people openly criticize Elon Musk and don't fear for their lives. This guy's a coward, a chicken. And you're going to see all of this in this short thread that I'm going to show you right here. Are you ready? Let's go. It all started here. There's this guy, Dan O'Dowd, who has some company, I think it's called Green Hill Software, and he's been attacking Tesla full self-driving, bought like a full page ad in the New York Times, and he started picking on Omar Kazi, or Omar responded to his trash talking, and he started picking on Omar. So I just started with a fairly innocent thing. I know Omar. I've known him online for a while. I spent 5 days with him in person in a car, about, I don't know, 18 hours a day together, 16 hours a day together. And I said he's completely honest and demonstrates great character. And we disagree. Omar and I disagree on things openly on Clubhouse, for example. And I still love the guy. I still think he's completely honest. I think he's a great guy. And I think he feels the same about me. So I make this tweet just to sort of support my friend when he gets attacked by this asshat Dan O'Dowd. And I get this response from Common Sense Skeptic. Well, you two are peas in a pod. That doesn't give either of you any credibility. Chills are shills. And Omar, of course, responds, morons will be morons. Hope you and your friends enjoy losing your shirts again. Referring to people who bet against Elon. Never bet against Elon. People who lose money betting against Tesla stock. So Skeptic says on a stonk that's down 35% from its all-time high, lose money. That's what bulls do. Shorts are up billions in 2022. I don't think many people shorted Tesla stock in 2022. Generally not a good play. Very dangerous thing to do. And I just responded to that by saying my average cost basis is roughly $100 a share. Tesla stock is trading around $800 or $850 a share. So I'm up a lot. And then I brought up this point that there's two factories that are still growing production, Fremont and Giga Shanghai. And there's two next generation factories coming on shortly. Giga Berlin, apparently going to start deliveries in March 22nd. Giga Texas going to start deliveries soon. And I asked a simple question. How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? Which relates to what's going on with the stock, right? If Tesla delivers a lot of cars to customers, the more cars Tesla delivers to customers, the more the company grows and the more impact that has on the value of the stock. So Common Sense Skeptic doesn't give a direct answer to this question. Instead, he says, let's be a little more specific with the answer, and it becomes easier to analyze. How many good cars with level 5 FSD do we think they will deliver? None, not a single one. Cheaply built, very expensive, disposable, battery-operated personal vehicles, unsustainable. Okay, so I asked a question. How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? And he didn't answer that question, and he tried to divert to level 5 full self-driving. I was asking about the stock. I was asking about the company, about current production, because he said that the stock was overvalued and the stock is down and all this other stuff. So I'm asking a fairly straightforward question. If you follow me, you know where I'm going. If Tesla's going to deliver 1.5 or 2 million cars, you know what growth that is. We can talk about it. It's going to come up in this thread. We can talk about how much income they're going to generate, and then you can calculate a price earnings ratio based on your valuation. That's what's coming. So he says cheaply built, very expensive. A Tesla Model 3 standard range starts at $45,000, which is less than the average vehicle sold in America today. Not very expensive. There are some very expensive Teslas. The Tesla Model X is a very expensive vehicle, but the Model 3, the Model Y are not outrageously expensive compared to the internal combustion engine competition that is widely sold in America today. So are they more expensive than a typical internal combustion engine vehicle that's comparable? Maybe a little, but you make that up on gas. In some cases, you make it up on tax credits based on your state. You make it up on not having to get oil changes. There's all kind of advantages to EVs that we could talk about. Cheaply built, I don't know what he's talking about. They have huge customer loyalty. Disposable, I've seen Teslas go over 600,000 miles. Battery operated, yeah, okay. I mean, I charge mine in my garage. I love it. I'm very happy with it. But he didn't answer the question, how many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? So I came back to it. Please answer the question. How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? This relates to your comments about the stock. And he says, not really. Again, he doesn't answer a very straightforward question. Not really when the vehicles are bottom of the basement in IQS. I don't even know what IQS is. What does that mean? How is that relevant to the question about the stock? Tesla will have any advantage they currently enjoy erode over time as other manufacturers bring their EV fleets online. Death by 1,000 cuts is inevitable here. So apparently, common sense skeptic now agrees that electric vehicles will dominate the car market and destroy the internal combustion engine market, because he's not saying internal combustion engine vehicles will compete with Tesla. He's claiming some other manufacturers will bring their EV fleets online. And we all know the competition is coming. The competition is coming. It's the cry of TSLAQ. The competition is coming. Where is it? You've been saying it for years. Where's the competition? When are they going to manufacture at scale? Where are they going to get their batteries? When are they going to get their manufacturing down? Look, there is some EV competition. Lucid Motors is making a few cars, currently about 100 a month. Rivian's making a few cars, currently about 100 a month. In China, BYD's making cars, and Neo Motors is making cars, but Tesla's selling a huge volume of cars out of Giga Shanghai. They don't seem to have a problem there. Where is this competition that TSLAQ thinks is coming? And is the competition really competitive with Tesla? So far, all the competition comes up with is vehicles that have less range, have less performance, and really aren't that cost effective. They have huge problems with battery supply. They have huge other problems. BYD is dependent on lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are great. Tesla uses them too, but that limits them on being able to achieve longer range. Nickel-based cells deliver longer range. Tesla has locked up nickel to be and develop their own nickel battery production, nickel-based battery production. So Tesla is on their path to massive growth. Who else is growing? Who else has plans to make over 1 million electric vehicles this year or next year or the year after that? The answer is no one. Only Tesla is growing at the pace that's necessary to take advantage of the demand in the electric vehicle market, which is just part of the larger car market. There is no electric vehicle market. There's just a car market, and Teslas are the best cars. And that's why they sell every one they make. And that's why there's a ridiculous delay. If you want to buy, let's say, a Tesla long-range Model 3 with the Aero wheel covers, you might wait like a year to get your car because there's so much demand for these cars. So anyway, he still didn't answer the question, and I went forward. Why are you afraid to answer this simple question? How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? You know the answer means the stock price is low, or you know if you understate it, that will be used against you when proven wrong. And again, he doesn't answer the question. When the stock is already incredibly artificially inflated on undelivered promises, these debates are truly pointless, Warren. Sorry, that's the game you play as a muskrat. So notice, just be clear, he called me a name first. I'm going to call him a name later. He called me a name first. And a lawyer's parlance, and lawyer's going to come up. He opened the door to name calling by calling me a name. He says Tesla over $50 is overvalued, period. This is important, okay? Because $50 would be a $50 billion market cap instead of a $800 billion market cap that Tesla, or $850 billion market cap that Tesla currently has, or $1 trillion market cap we were talking about. I called him a coward, right? He called me a muskrat. I called him a coward. Afraid to answer a simple question. The insult is directly related to the point. You're afraid to answer a question. How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver to customers in 2022? And I pointed out here, Q4 net income was $2.32 billion, on pace for $9 billion a year with zero growth. If you look forward, you can see that Tesla is easily going to have $10 billion in net income in 2022. Probably going to have 12, maybe $15 billion in net income. But at $9 billion a year in net income, $50 a share would be a price earnings ratio of 6. Okay? A normal company that's not growing would have a price earnings ratio of maybe 10, 12, 15. With a company growing 80% a year, Tesla increased their deliveries by 88%. They increased their profit by like 300%, right? With a company growing this fast, the price earnings ratio would be way over 50, right? Probably over 100, if not 200. So this valuation at $50 billion market cap for a company making $10 billion a year is basically insane. And I pointed out, you're investing sarcastically, you're investing acumen is impressive. So common sense skeptics so everyone gets it, Warren, you're a shill. $2.323 billion net for a company worth $1 trillion. That's quarterly net income, not annual net income. The total would work out to, let's say, $10 billion. And at a price earnings ratio of 100, yeah, it would be worth $1 trillion. Let's say that again. At $10 billion in net income, with a 100 price earnings ratio, which is appropriate for a fast growing company, if not low, yes, that would be worth $1 trillion. But this avoids the point that you said in my next tweet. You said it's overvalued at $50 billion. Are you admitting that's dumb? If this isn't your lane, what are you good at? Okay, because it's obvious that a $50 billion market cap for Tesla, and he's saying it's overvalued at $50 billion. A $50 billion market cap would be insanely undervalued for Tesla because of its growth and its profits. And I asked him if you're admitting that's dumb. Of course, he doesn't answer that question. And he doesn't answer the question, what are you good at? Who are you trying to impress here, Omar? You're not winning the debate, bud. Yeah, I'm asking you questions, you're not answering them. And you've just embarrassed yourself as a traffic lawyer. So probably best you retire for the day. He gets on the lawyer insults here. And he says, probably best you retire for the day. I pointed out that I retired on the success of my Tesla investment. Thanks for playing. You know, I retired for a bunch of reasons, but I'm basically tired of being a lawyer. That's a long conversation. But he says it obviously wasn't due to your legal skills. Okay, and you're gonna pick at me. I've had 50 jury verdicts, but sure, you're qualified to evaluate lawyers. What do you do again? Okay, let's see the court documents from your best case. Let's see what kind of lawyer you are. And oh, from personal experience, you don't need to be a lawyer to beat a lawyer in court. Okay, so he's basically calling me out saying I'm not a good lawyer. He asks for court documents, and I provided links to 2 appeal cases that I won. And then I provided the 3.85 images to the $3.85 million verdict that I won in a motorcycle accident case. And yes, what I brought to the table, I won the cases. I did quite a bit. I can't answer the question what I did on each case. A long story for each case. But I asked again, what have you done in your life to demonstrate competence at anything? No answer. We don't know what he does for a living. We don't know. Let's see. He's qualified to evaluate lawyers. I asked, what do you do again? See if he answered that question. He said, identify liars and crackpots. That's how we found you. So I responded. So you've never had a real job, know nothing about investing or law, but you're filled with confidence in your own opinions, referring him to the Dunning-Kruger effect. And he, of course, takes another shot at me as a traffic lawyer. Probably a good thing. Here's the thing. We don't know what Common Sense Skeptic does. He won't admit, he won't say what he does for a living if he's ever had a real job. I accused him of never having a real job. He doesn't say, no, wait a minute, I did have a real job. This is what I did. We have no idea what this guy does. All we know is he has a Twitter account and a YouTube account, and he posts videos making snide comments about people. Common Sense Skeptic is a coward. Okay? I said it to him on Twitter. I'll say it to him here. Common Sense Skeptic, you are a coward. If you want to have a real conversation about Tesla or anything else, tell us who you are. I'm right here. My face is right here. I'm not afraid to say controversial things. I'm not afraid to criticize my government. I'm not afraid to criticize powerful economic interests. I'm open, very public with my views. I'm not afraid to say anything. I'm not afraid for people to challenge me and call me out for my history as a lawyer. I've had 50 jury verdicts. I won a $3.85 million verdict. I won appeals. I've done a lot. And, you know, I demonstrated that I had won appeals. Did he accept it? No. I will mention, by the way, this People versus DeYoung case is a case I did the appeal pro bono. My client was arrested for marijuana. It's a long story. New York had adopted a new policy that first-time drug offenders, could get treatment over incarceration. The local judge refused to apply that law to my client, keeping my client from getting the benefit of the law, which is getting treatment instead of incarceration. Instead of getting convicted of a felony, he didn't actually get jail time. But instead of getting convicted of a felony, which goes on your record for the rest of your life, the deal that he should have gotten and did ultimately get because of me meant he doesn't have a felony on his record, right? He gets treatment, he took care of his drug problems, and he doesn't get a felony on his record, which makes a big difference in people's lives. This is not a trivial thing. And I fought for my client, and I won, and I did this particular case pro bono. I did the lower court case, I got paid. But when the judge refused to do this, I felt this was important as my social obligation to fight for my client to get the benefit of this law and fight to make sure that this law is applied. This is, as far as I know, the only case where somebody litigated this about whether somebody should get the benefit of this, called judicial diversion in New York. And I won this case. And not only did I win, they didn't just send it back to the local court judge and say, hey, you've got to look at this again. They said that, no, we're putting him in the program. They ordered that he be put into the program. They went beyond what I asked for. I just asked to send it back to the judge to make him look at it again, and they said, no, we're putting him in. There's no dispute that he's an eligible defendant. There's no reason to conclude that he did not have a history of alcohol. All the factors he met. This psychologist who interviewed the defendant at my request, this is a psychologist I sent most of my clients with drunk driving and drug cases to get evaluated. All of this went forward, and I won this case. This was a big case. I'm very proud of this case. This isn't a case I made money on. This is a case I did pro bono, which means for free. But I'm very proud of my work on this case. Did Common Sense Skeptic bother to read the case and see what I argued about and see what I did for my client? No. He's just arguing because he's a troll. He's just a troll. That's all he is. Carter versus Wemple was a case that I won. I was a trial lawyer for Allstate, and my friend Dick Alisi up here was the plaintiff's lawyer. We had a trial. I won the trial. He appealed, and I won the appeal. It was a pretty routine case. And then the $3.85 million verdict, my client was injured. He actually lost his foot in the accident itself, ultimately lost his leg below the knee, ridiculous amount of time in the hospital, and Geico refused to settle the case in a reasonable manner. We ended up going to trial and won a $3.85 million verdict. There's a whole story there. I demonstrated my competence, and this guy has not demonstrated competence at anything. That's really the fundamental issue with Common Sense Skeptic. Who is this guy? He's just a troll who argues online, points fingers at other people, and actually, offers nothing of value in the conversation. Who are you? What do you do? What qualifies you to have the opinions you have? And why can't you answer straightforward questions like, how many vehicles do you think Tesla will produce and deliver to customers in 2022? Because if your answer is 1.2 million vehicles, and then Tesla delivers 1.5 million vehicles, then you were wrong, and it's obvious you were wrong. If your answer is 1.8 million vehicles, well, then you're admitting that Tesla's going to grow at like 100% clip. And then you would probably have to admit that they're going to make a lot of profits, and they're growing fast, and that would lead to a high price earnings ratio. But you can't admit that, because that would mean your statement that is overvalued at $50 would be dumb. This is the problem with Common Sense Skeptic, is he won't engage in an honest conversation. He can't engage in an honest conversation. He has to hide behind things. He has to play games. And this is very typical of TSLAQ. Ask them a direct question. They either can't answer it, they won't answer it. If they do answer it, they're just plain wrong. That's one of the things I love to do on this channel, exposing TSLAQ. So here is Common Sense Skeptic exposed. I'm probably going to do another Common Sense Skeptic exposed video soon, but I just wanted to do this one now because this conversation is fresh. I hope you enjoyed this teardown of Common Sense Skeptic. If you liked this video, please check out my other videos. Please support this channel on Patreon and on Locals. Check out the t-shirts at elonbits.com. And thank you so much for watching.